So here's the headline from the Washington Post that got me thinking this morning. Harsh deportation tools are just fine with many Americans. For months, former President Donald Trump and his allies have previewed a plan for mass deportations of millions of undocumented immigrants. And through it all, the Biden campaign has increasingly sought to elevate their comments, apparently believing that the plan is at odds with the American people and voters. That's the first paragraph. That goes on to talk about many Americans. A February CNN poll tested a number of Trump proposals that might seem extreme or unpopular. The plan to detain and deport millions of undocumented immigrants was broached alongside Trump jailing his political opponents, pardoning himself, and the January 6th defendants. But unlike the other proposals, deportation earned the support of nearly half of Americans, 48%. So if we look at immigration, the Nogales area rancher accused of shooting a migrant will not face retrial. I believe it was 7 out of 8 were not guilty votes. There was one that was holding out for a guilty verdict, which is why they got a hung jury. But prosecutors looking at that. And here's the reason why this plays a role in this. First of all, there's no evidence that this rancher shot anyone. They said they shot into the air. They never found a bullet that was connected to that gun. But I also think there's a lot of empathy in people with what people are facing. No one wants to see someone, an unarmed person, get shot. That's not what this is about. Americans' attitudes across the country especially in the last 2 years, have changed dramatically. Americans are benevolent. I believe in us. I believe that the American people, we understand in our hearts, I think most of us understand that we are blessed to be born in this country. At least I am. I've had the privilege of traveling to some amazing places. I've been to France. I've been to Belgium and Luxembourg. On the anniversary of D-Day, I was in Normandy. I've been to Italy, which has been so far my favorite place to visit that I've been outside of the country. But I love home. I love America. And when it comes to our economy and when it comes with the American dream and the entrepreneurial spirit, I think we're unrivaled. And I think most Americans in our hearts understand that. And when we share what we've been given, when we accept immigrants, and we should always be a nation of immigrants, and we hear the great stories of immigrants and what they've accomplished in this nation, and within one generation living the American dream, coming from abject poverty and communism and socialism, and coming to this country and flourishing and becoming not just wealthy, and many of them do become wealthy, but living a life that they've chosen, and how they embrace that, and they embrace the American dream. We are losing those stories, and they exist. They are still out there. There are still so many people that are living the American dream in one generation, but we're not talking about those anymore. What we're talking about now is survival and people coming across the border illegally. They know they're doing it illegally. We know they're doing it illegally, and nothing is changing. And people are frustrated. When you have millions and millions of people coming here, when there's video of people storming the border and overrunning the National Guard and people that are trying to protect the border, the American people get upset because as kind and as good as we are, we don't want that kindness to be mistaken for weakness, and that we understand there has to be an orderly way of doing things, and we've completely lost any sense of order at the border. And I think Americans are fed up, and it's not Republicans, it's not Democrats, it's Americans. We are fed up with what's happening at the border. So what I think is the byproduct of this, and I think it's a bad thing, is that Americans have begun to sour on immigration, on legal immigration. So I understand that what's been done, all in the interest of being kind. I've mentioned the word Stylebook before, and I don't even know if it's called that anymore, but media organizations use something called a Stylebook so that everybody in their organization is using the same terminology and it's consistency in their reporting. There's nothing nefarious about it. It's just the way they do things. When we talk about this topic, this is the way we address it. When we talk about this topic, this is the verbiage we use. But if you look, we called people illegals, illegal immigrants, illegal migrants, undocumented migrants. We've gone through this whole process, and now we have gone from calling everyone a migrant to calling people newcomers. That seems to be the terminology now, and people will bristle when you use, if I say illegal immigrant, people bristle just at that statement. But identifying someone as an illegal immigrant is important. And the reason why is because if everybody is called a migrant, what does it do to the people that did it the right way? I've told the story. I'm not going to tell it again. My friend who's trying to get a fiance's visa to get his fiance here. They have a 4-year-old child. He's gone through the steps to have his child recognized as an American citizen, but she lives in Mexico with her mother. And he is going through all of the legal channels and through all of the paperwork and all of the red tape and the huge expense to try to do this the right way. In the meantime, he watches his tax dollars be used to house people and feed people and clothe people that have come here nefariously, that have come here, whether they're here for noble reasons or not, they've come here the wrong way. So he's spending money out of his pocket to do it the right way, and he's spending money out of his pocket to watch other people do it the wrong way. He's got a child that's going to be school age very soon, and she's not going to be educated in American school unless he can expedite this process and get his fiance here faster. Now, people said, well, he could bring her here. Yeah, he could. It's a 4-year-old girl that's lived her entire life with her mother. You're going to tear it from your mother's arms? It's not possible. You know that's not going to happen. And yet we have people crossing the border with their children. They're coming here illegally, and within, a short amount of time, they're given temporary status. Their children are being educated in American schools. How about, what does that say to the people that are doing it the right way? That's the problem. When you say everybody's a migrant, you're not just trying to save the feelings of someone that's here illegally. You are denigrating the hard work of someone that is a legal immigrant to this nation. And we better wrap our arms around it. We better do it sooner rather than later, because we are souring this nation on immigration. And if we ever sour as a nation on immigration, we're going to be a far different country than we are, and it'll be bad for us.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Tap to watch the first season of Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast. You can also click the button in the middle to subscribe.